Alrighty, guys. This is a special treat because Dean is actually going to do most of this interview. We're gonna. I know this sounds naughty.
I don't think is mine working?
There it is. We're gonna team up on you.
Sounds a little scary.
So, if those that don't know Dean, amazing individual, special effects. He had an amazing turnout for Maximum Overdrive for us earlier. So he's going to do this. I'm going to help him. And of course, the amazing Jennifer Blanc Biehn, who has been absolutely wonder. How's the con been for you?
It's been great. We've had a really nice time. We have our 10-year-old with us, and he's looped in with one of the volunteers' children, and two of his friends that moved from LA to Colorado came to the show.
All right.
So it's been a bit mad. Like, I took him swimming last night and my head was going to explode trying to get them out of the pool. But besides the mommy stuff, it's been great.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. Dean, take it away.
So, Jennifer Blanc Biehn.
Yes.
You have had an amazing experience in life that very few people can claim.
Uh-oh.
You started very young on Broadway in Brighton Beach Memoirs.
That's correct.
And you've done episodic TV, film, genre film, voice work, and recently writing and producing. And have your own production company. Well,
yes.
along with Michael.
Yeah, we did. We don't do that anymore.
Okay.
But we did for about 9 years have a production company. Now I'm back to just, if you want me to help you produce something, if you're written something for me to act in, I'm there. I'm going to do it. Or maybe I have some ideas to pitch. But it was really fun for 9 years to write, produce, direct, and have Michael direct and all of that. And give, more than anything, give people an opportunity to direct for the first time. Or
well, it's great. Always great to give back. And you find, I think, as we all move along, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do that. What skills did you learn early on in theater and television that you still rely on, and what new skills have you had to acquire recently, especially in producing?
The producing part that's the most intense thing, because when you're producing, I'll go backwards.
Yes.
When you're producing, it depends. Like, Gail Hurd is a producer, but she's also a line producer. So if you're a executive producer and a line producer, it's very different, as you know.
Yes.
As you might know. Yeah. Than being just the executive producer, or, oh, I've done this for the production, we're going to get a producer credit, is so different. And you make a lot of enemies that way. So because it's harder, you're the one who has to say yes and no a lot. And there's a lot of no's when there's no money for something.
Right.
So producing is awesome. And putting people together as the producer and as the connector and getting the PR going and getting all that, that's awesome. Line producing, I won't ever get involved with again, because I'm too much of an actress that's also out there. You know, at first I was Jennifer Blanc, now I'm Jennifer Blanc Biehn, and I have too much of that face out there that people will immediately go to, oh, she's a bitch, you know? And they do that with Gail Hurd anyway. And she's just a strong woman who's been able to create incredible things for all of us to see. And so I don't have a thick enough skin, because I'm still an emotional actress, to be that person. I just don't. I get too upset. I get too emotional. I get too upset. I want to be liked. I don't want to be mean-girled, you know? And so for me, that was the hardest part. And I had to learn survival skills in that. The producing and putting people together and the PR and all that stuff is very natural to me.
Yes.
It's just, I'm a people person. What I learned as a younger person in acting, I mean, a lot of gratitude for being there and being able to, like, do what I was loving. I learned, like, the more you can continue having to acknowledge at least a little bit of gratitude in what you're doing, even if it's not your favorite thing, or even if you don't love the outcome or whatever. I mean, it does not go unnoticed on us, you know, myself or Michael, that we have a great life. And, you know, you can always have something more and you can always have something less. So, you know, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you answered a bunch of other questions too, which is wonderful.
Sorry.
No, that's fantastic. You've worked in a lot of horror, thriller, and psychological genres: The Victim, The Divide, Alter Perception, Hidden in the Woods. Is there anything that draws you to the darker, more intense genres
Well,
or stories?
I started like Brighton Beach Memoirs on Broadway as a comedy, and I started I was on a show called The Mommies for Paramount and NBC, like comedy, kind of playing the ditzy whatever, or Saved by the Bell, the wheelchair.
I was just about to say
Yeah,
that.
so that sort of was in my history. And then, what I love watching more is like political thrillers and thrillers. So when Michael wrote The Victim for us to star in together and us to produce together, that sort of started that train for me, even though I had done Dark Angel, which is a genre piece, and that's working with James Cameron and Chick Egley. And I had done a serious show called Party of Five, which was very serious. It wasn't thriller, but it was serious. Yeah, but The Victim, Michael and Xavier pulling me into doing like a little tiny thing in The Divide, kind of started me on that train that started that company that we did, which was mostly all horror and thriller. And mostly because everyone wants to see horror and thrillers. As far as producing and stuff, everyone wants to see horror films and thrillers. There's money there, there's a little more money there.
Most successful genres, especially cost to return ratio.
That's right.
And traditionally, those genres, horror, don't necessarily have to have big stars to do well. Because most everything stars.
I wish I had learned that lesson, because I wasted all my favors on those tiny little movies, putting stars in them. And I'm like, damn it, now I can't go back to them, because there were so many things, so many things can go wrong too. So like when I was doing the production company, and it was pretty much a thriller horror palette, I had an investor that only wanted to spend this much per movie, and it was unrealistic. So I would have to get favors. I'd have to get other investors. I'd have to get favors from, camera company. There was so many moving pieces, deferments, and the deferments don't always come through. That when you sign on for a deferment, it's like it could happen, it might not happen. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
For it. Oh,
yeah, exactly. And when people hear it, they think, oh, it's definitely going to happen because this is going to be so fabulous. And so when they're coming for their deferment and it's not there, you're like, oh shit, I wasted this favor. That's not going to happen again. So, I had Angus McFadden in one. I had Tia Carrera in another. I had William Forsythe in another one. Michael did a lot of favors for the company as my husband and partner, and, helping young filmmakers. He did favor after favor, which I probably lost those favors too in that whole thing.
It gets a little taxing, though. No one really realizes how difficult it is to make a movie.
In general.
Yes. So
with a budget.
Is the executive producer the more difficult part that you experienced, or was there other? I mean, what was the biggest hill for you to climb on that?
I think dealing with the investor, I was really good at it for I dealt with the same person for 9 years, but when it goes south, you have to be careful. We never signed a contract that called ourselves partners, but there's differences in language that can get you in trouble too. And he wasn't my partner. I mean, my partner would have been Michael in the fact that he was loaning his name to it, basically, And this guy was not my partner. He was an investor, but I was doing things the way that he wanted. And a lot of times it was against my better job. I would try to go lobby for the better choice, the better way. Didn't always work. But when that goes south, you got to be careful of the language. And I tell this to producers. Like I have a guy that wrote two movies. One he wants me to star in or play a role in, and the other one he wrote for me to star in. And they're going to be filmed in New York. And one's called The Fear Collector. One's called DOT. They are thrillers. One's a horror. One's a thriller. He wants me to produce. I said, I will produce with you as a hired on figure. I'm not going to own any part of it. I'm not going to be your partner, because that gets dangerous. And if anything ever goes south, we don't want to be suing each other. We don't want to go down that road. And so now I would rather come out and give people advice on how to avoid that kind of breakdown and avoid, if you're ever sued, like the languaging that's going to help you.
That's amazing because of your experience going forward, you know these things, and so many, even in just regular businesses,
Yeah.
you say, a partner, let's put in the contract. If it comes time, how are we going to dissolve this? We never think it's going to happen. We don't want it to.
You don't want it
but
to.
you want to have it laid out.
Yeah.
If things go south, here's what we're going to do.
Yep.
And there's no emotional problems later.
And if you don't have those things written down, then it's kind of free for all. So there's so many things I've learned. I was so young. I wasn't young, but I was young enough that I was a little more like, yeah, this is amazing, and a little less jaded. In that. So now I'm like work for hire as an actress, but I don't want to necessarily audition for everything. Maybe I want you to offer it to me. Maybe I just want to have a discussion with you, and maybe I just want to be at home with my kid, And I do have a pitch though going right now that I'm actually talking to your BitBot guys about, and my
Over there with Josh.
yeah, I really like them. So I'm talking to them a little bit, and I have a guy in LA who's producing a Goonies documentary that's going to come to maybe HBO. And he's my son's best friend's dad, and he's been in this show running industry forever. And Michael said, well, I know you're talking to these guys, and I know you're talking to your friend at home. You're having a meeting that used to produce this and this and this. But why don't you write so-and-so's dad? And I was like, that's a good idea. And so I did. And he wrote me back. He's like, yeah, I'm so used to pitching things. I could probably be of help. So I have gotten in the business of collecting antique gold jewelry and wearing it a lot. And then when I'm sick of it, or when somebody hits me up, I sell it, and gold is a very good investment right now. So I've made friends with a lot of friends that own pawn shops and this and that, and I've seeked out like all the greatest stuff, and people seem to like my taste and want to buy it from me. So I do these live shows with friends that are collecting jewelry. Also, I do the live shows with the shops. And somebody said to me, like, why don't you do a reality show as you, the actress, doing all this stuff that you're doing anyway because you love it and it makes people money and it's doing things. And I thought, like, I like that, like, because I would really enjoy it. And Michael's like, yeah, I'll pop in the background once in a while. And I was like, okay.
Well, that's
they
a
got
sell.
me, and then they got Michael. So, like.
And I mean, the jacket's on point. I mean, damn,
Yeah.
that is a hot jacket today. I'm telling you.
Oh, thank you. I bought that when we landed here. I got that at Ann Taylor over here. I was like, when can we get back over to Ann Taylor? I want 4 more of these.
Nice.
I love it. I'm loving it. Because I was looking at Chanel. They're outrageously expensive, and they never fit my swimmer shoulders. So the Ann Taylor ones like give you a little room for that. So anyway, I have this pitch going right now, which would keep me on TV, but also doing this fun thing that I'm doing right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
With Alter Perception,
Yes.
the story plays with memory, perception, and reality.
Mm-hmm.
How did you prepare for such psychological elements, especially when co-writing and producing?
Okay, so John Hortez is a dear friend of ours. He's from This Is Us and from Castle. He's also our son's goddad. And Travis Romero, who passed away in the last year and a half, and that was a big blow, was one of the showrunners on Hawaii that Michael was on, and was a very good friend of Michael's. I had the idea for Altered Perception, so I went to Travis, and he started writing it. And God, I haven't seen it in a while, and I haven't thought about it in a while, so I have to think about this. But basically, we enrolled John to play my boyfriend or partner on it, and then we started casting various people. One girl who was an investor in it, along with that other investor I mentioned, and then another kid whose dad was kind of investing in things. But these were all people who wanted to be actors, so I was like, okay, well, we can all help each other here, right? And then we hired some actors that obviously were auditioning for us, or that we had hired for something else and we knew, and brought them in. John kind of got involved and said, well, I like to write. Let me get with Travis and like really hone this thing. And he did a great job of that. And, preparing for me, I was preparing from the beginning because I was involved from the inception. So for me, the preparation was easier because it was like every moment of it was I was involved. For the other people, it's interesting. I don't know how each one of them had to prepare for something like that. But basically, it was, different perceptions of the same incident by different people. And who were entered in a study where some of them were given a placebo shot and some of them were given a real medical shot, and it was kind of unraveling in front of a group of like doctors who were studying it from a study point of view, and it was a really sort of I think there's a lot of controversy over whether something's in our minds or actually working.
It's an absolutely
Yeah.
great premise.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
And honestly, I know it was a great premise. We just didn't have the money to support a movie that could have been of that caliber. So you should watch it anyway, because I'd love to hear online what people think. I haven't seen it in a long time, but you can rent it somewhere, I'm sure. I haven't paid attention to this in so long, because like once the relationship with that investor went downhill, I can't talk about it too much because we had to go legal on this, but I can say I just signed everything over. I was just like, take it all, I'm done with what I was doing. There's no real money to be made there. If there was, I would be making it as an actress anyway. And like, it wasn't about that for me, that part of my world. Now I want my residuals. We want Michael's residuals. We want our pension at SAG. We want all of that. Oh, and by the way, our dear friend Sean Astin just got elected to Screen Actors Guild
saw that,
president,
yes.
which I just texted with him this morning, and he got back to me finally because he was a very busy man for a minute, and he also worked on that Goonies thing. But like, he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I said to Michael, because we want him on the podcast, Michael's podcast, I said to Michael, this guy's going to get elected as president. I said this like a week ago. He's running for president.
Guy.
This is happening. He ain't going to have any time.
Nope.
This guy's not going to have any freaking time, because he's been trying to change things over at SAG for, we're talking 10 years.
Yeah, so I'd say a decade at least.
But he's got such a breadth of experience.
Yes,
working
his
with
mom
that and
was
all
the
of that.
president, and his dad, who his dad was, and
My wife was good friends with him when we
Yeah.
lived in L.A.
Yeah.
They both were in the same Buddhism group, and she studied. She was with him for 20 years. He a lovely guy.
what a lovely human that
Yeah.
guy is. Like, we were leaving a convention once, and like the whole thing was almost empty, but he'd come in late, flown in late, and he had a line out the door, and the thing was getting shut down. And he didn't leave till the last person was taken care of.
Yes, he's very genuine. And
Well,
I've
you
seen him do
see in
that.
every performance, he seems to have a joy of life.
Oh yeah, I think he's very grateful too.
Yes.
For his work, and also he wants what's right. I watched him also behind the scenes when the strike was happening, and when we were all at these conventions, and everyone was banned from like putting certain things on their table, and you had to put this on. People had to pick it up on that table and bring it to you here, and as Screen Actors Guild was trying to get involved with conventions, and I was like, that's ridiculous, And he had lines of actors, like big actors, in the green room, just talking to him like, when is this going to end? Like, I have a series that's about to come out and I'm not allowed to promote it and I can't talk about it. And he was sort of very calmly sitting there like, we're trying to get this done and we're trying to get, I was just like, wow. And so he really is the right person to be the president of Screen Actors Guild right now, because he cares, he really wants to make it
Well,
better.
it's you mentioned some things that are big issues now with actors, filmmakers, writers. With all of the streaming services, it is a black hole of not knowing how is your project being valued as far as making money for
There's
the
no
people
way.
that there is no way.
It's a really hard thing to try to figure out.
And nowadays even music artists are saying that it's all a 360 deal, that you can no longer, if you sign with it used to be concerts and your merch, that's your deal. Now they want to sign everything up.
It's weird.
And they tell these guys, well, we're going to promote you as a singer or whatever. And now with distribution, it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
That it's hard to prove because you're not selling DVDs or, CDs or whatever. There's
Right.
no hard things going, oh, doom, 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 doom. We did this many.
Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
we made that much. It's all now a nefarious collect piles of money,
Yeah.
and then how do you prove how many eyeballs got on it?
It's so hard. And the
It is.
likeness thing, it's happening. That's
Yes.
just happening. So they have to figure out at SAG how to at least get some compensation to actors for this, because there's no way around it, because you can see the deep fake. People can just do it, and then it can get pulled down. You know,
Well,
so it's
some of the deep fakes are hard to even tell that they are deep fakes. I mean, I'm looking at some of these and I'm like, holy crap, that's a computer image. I mean, it looks.
there
very
was a
crazy.
basketball player, or it was either. I'm not a sports person, but Michael is. He's watching football right now until he comes down. But
Yeah, the game's on right now.
yeah, yeah. So he's like, just text me when you're done. And so he was watching a sports figure. I don't remember who it is. If he was here, he would tell you. You guys would know immediately. Talking about some ridiculous subject, and he was like, that seems weird. That seems very controversial. Like, that doesn't seem like that guy would be talking about that. Come to find, and you guys might know what I'm talking about, he sees another one like a week later, but he thought it was the guy. He sees another one a week later, and it turns out they were all deep fakes. There was no way these sports guys were talking like that about some other player. It had to do with some other player that had done something controversial, and they just weren't going to do it. And it was all deep fakes, and he totally believed it was them all week until he started seeing so many that he was like, okay, there's no way that, and nobody's talking about it in the news that so-and-so said this and so-and-so. So I don't know. I don't have the answers for this, except that they're trying to now, according to Sean, the last time we spoke to him about it, before he was president, when Fran Drescher was still president, they were trying to get into the contracts that this likeness thing at least has to be paid out in a certain capacity at the beginning. So if it happens, you get something. I don't know what that looks like.
Well, hopefully there's a way to work it out because, we're taking the humanity out of everything. It's like
no, it's a real. This is a crazy time, guys.
And how Hitchcock people used to refer to actors as a human prop. Like, just say the lines. I want you to stand here, do this, do this. You bring your, direct me. No, you know what you're doing. Just do that. But I'm concerned about the aspect. Well, now it's gotten to where everything's being stripped away. Of all that.
Well, Kubrick was kind of intense like that. Like, poor Scatman Crothers. If you read up on that, like we were watching The Shining last night upstairs. That's the kids wanted to look at it, and they shut it off. Dashiell and I kept going, but and we were watching that scene in the cellar, where he's walking and then they shine. Apparently, he had to do that like, I don't know, 85 times or something because he wasn't saying.
Kubrick's known for that.
Yeah, and so it was a. And like, just say it this way and hit it here. And the poor guy, I don't even think he was really an actor. So it was like
that movie. They took so long at Shepperton Studios, it delayed the start of production on The Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
They were supposed to come right in behind them.
Wow.
Months, and they were getting ready to sue them and kick them out because the interior of the the hotel was located there at Shepperton, and they wouldn't stop. They said, well, you just guys walking around, whatever. What's going
He's
on?
just running amok.
We got running amok.
Not leaving. Yeah, well, you got Jack Nicholson. Was Jack Nicholson like at his like absolute prime at that time?
He was
or not quite there?
I noticed after that movie, things shifted for him where he all of a sudden became the icon, and he started getting a little fuller, and Witches of Eastwick, and all of a sudden it became like, I think that established him being like, we're just going to Nicholson it now.
Totally, that whole vibe,
which was all great. It was all great.
Yeah, it's all amazing.
Well, speaking of performance, and we talked about earlier Alter Perception. I think that we screened the victim here, right?
Yes.
We did.
Well,
did somebody show up? Did anybody?
Yeah, a few people showed up.
It was right for Mac. I did. We screened Maximum Overdrive, and right, man, people were piling in. Your character Annie, in the script is a stripper who becomes what has been called.
Thank you, Michael.
What has been called a controversial heroine by some critics of sorts, and there are strong exploitation and grindhouse influences, which
it's a sexploitation movie if you didn't see it.
So what was your process for balancing the shock value elements, as you mentioned, the sexual violence tension, with making Annie empathetic and complex, which she was?
Annie was definitely empathetic. She was a stripper, but like, she was just a girl. It was just her job. And Danielle Harris also was the best friend and also a stripper, and just we were friends, and we were gonna go do drugs and hang out with these bad cops, and like total sexploitation, exploitation vibe. But they were just a bunch of girls like hanging out with guys, like that's how it starts. but the cops are so bad that somebody ends up dead, right? So that's where it starts. So immediately you have empathy for her because she's running from people that are going to kill her, because I think we can all agree, I'm not sure in our society right now, but I think we can all agree nobody deserves to die
Correct.
in any way, shape, or form
Sure.
for what they do say, as long as they don't hurt anybody else and you're not defending yourself. So that girl died just like having sex, right? The friend. So that's not okay. So I think immediately Annie running from that, whether you like their lifestyle or not, or like what they did with themselves, she was immediately empathetic because she didn't deserve to die. So, but I say this, Michael directed our sex scene, which was the first thing we did, and it's a very sexy, beautifully shot sex scene, but very explicit, but also beautifully shot sex scene. That was the first thing we did on day one, and he directed it naked.
Wow.
Wow. All right. That's a visual. That just
I
blows
don't
the
know if that would
Kubrick
go down
method right
well
out of the
now,
water.
because that was what, like, we did it like 14 years.
Yeah, I
It's
was
going
gonna
on
say, it's over
14
10
years ago.
years, yeah.
So now they have these things called intimacy coordinators.
Ex lady stunt coordinator goes, I'm not working so much. Hey, maybe we should go in here and help these people through this. Which back in the day, I mean, I remember, those things are, how you look at it,
Yeah.
it's awkward.
We're
It's weird.
in a relationship,
And-
so
and-
for us
and
it was
that's-
fine.
and that
Like,
you-
move
you
this
know,
there,
sure,
but
sure.
I've done them with other people, and it is awkward and it is uncomfortable, and it's like, so it's a great thing that they do that now, but they didn't have that back then. They didn't insist on that back then, and so the entire crew got subject to a naked Michael.
Couples therapy. Evidently.
Exactly. So, there's a behind the scenes film. If you ever got the DVD set, or maybe when they stream it, they play it after, but it's really fun. And you see like all the crazy that was going on. It's such a low budget. That's how we got into the mindset that we could do these low budgets and continue to do them and continue to give people, an opportunity. Vincent Guastino, who did, Vinny, right? I'm sure you do. He did the special effects with us, so that was really fun. He did the bleeding head at the end when Michael,
Very, very effective.
beats that guy to death. And, it was, I don't know if there was any balance really, to that question, but I think she was just empathetic because I believed so wholeheartedly, in what I was doing. Michael believed in what he was doing, and everyone fought him. If anybody has seen it, everyone fought him on that ending. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. There's an ending to the movie that every single person fought him on it, but it's been the best thing about that movie is that there's sort of a open end.
Yes. Well, and you mentioned something that very unique, in the fact that you and Michael were in a relationship, having to do what you did. That had to have been so much easier and better to cross that.
Oh yeah, that was easy.
Because you had each other's support there.
But we fought about everything else throughout. Like, so if you'll see in that making of movie, he'll be like, cut again, start again. And I'll be like, I was in it. Like, I had it. He was like, you didn't have it. I was like, back and forth. And then I'd be fighting with him. And the first AD would be like, girl, calm down. It's okay. Just take a breath. It's fine. It was just like insane, and it was constantly us bickering about like the way he was directing and when I thought I had it, and he got a very good performance out of me, and I owe that to him for sure, because it was I'm happy with that performance. And he's just a pro, so he was able to just like come in and do his thing.
Which one of you is the more method actor, you or him?
Me, for sure. Me, for sure. But I think he is in life. Michael is. I'm kind of tapped into. I know him so well. Like, I could finish every sentence. He's trying to find things that I don't know. He's trying to figure it out. Like, we'll be driving long distance. Like, I'm trying to think of something that you can't finish, but I think he probably is more of a method actor than he realizes, but that's how he is as a human. I can feel him going through something, and I will be asking him for days about this. You know, like, you got something going on. He doesn't realize till after that he was like feeling something and he was having this anxiety or he was upset about something. It sneaks up on him constantly, you know? So I think he might be so in it that he doesn't even realize he's method acting, you know, which might make him more the method actor. But I don't think he would say
On a
he
subconscious level.
was. Exactly.
Have you ever had? Oh, I know we got to wrap up here.
Oh,
soon.
okay.
Have,
5 minutes. Okay. I'm going to text my son really quick before you do that and just say, I'm literally on stage in an interview. I'm almost done. If you want to come in the room, you can. You can even sit on the stage if you'd like, but I cannot answer the phone for 5 minutes.
There we go. Amazing. Yes. So method. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. The method in action.
Jen, have you ever had a role that scared you, one that you weren't sure you could pull off, and what did you do to overcome that fear?
Yeah, there's been a few. I got to think about this. One of them was not that I didn't think I could pull. I have a movie that was with Shannon Doherty, and it's been a very sad time losing her. We starred opposite each other in a movie called Friends Till the End. Michael actually helped me through that whole movie, making that performance, and I'm very proud of my performance in that as well. I just had to carry a lot along with her, and I was nervous. It's not that I didn't think I could do it. It was just the whole movie along with her. So that was nerve-wracking, but I had the help, and once I got in it, I had the best time. And then I'm trying to think of more recently, something that when I did Everly, I was a little bit nervous going in there. You know, I was working, it was like I was working in Serbia with Salma Hayek and Joe Lynch.
Joe Lynch
And-
is a good friend of mine.
Is he? Oh,
Yeah,
I
him
love
and Adam.
Joe.
Joe's wonderful.
Oh, and I love Adam. We've been on their podcast, me and
Yeah,
Michael, when I
I-
was like pregnant out to here.
I
We
was
were
on his podcast when Maximum Overdrive got his Blu-ray release, and then we went to the Alamo Draft House screening right
Oh,
afterward.
they're such good
Their
guys.
studio's amazing. They're
It really
both great
is.
guys.
And do they still do their show too, or no?
They do, yeah.
The podcast and the show? What was the name of the show?
not Everly. Not Everly. What was their?
I forgot the name of the show, but
Yeah,
it was doing really well online for quite a while.
Yeah, no, they only did about 2 seasons.
They did 2 seasons. That's what I thought.
But
yeah.
the podcast, they crank them
Oh yeah.
out.
Oh yeah.
And then they do their marathon around holiday times, like 48 hours. And I think they stopped doing that because Joe passed out one time right afterward.
Really?
Well, just they were up 3 days straight.
Oh, passed out, not
Yeah.
passed out. Am I allowed to ask personal? Is Joe divorced now? I couldn't. He
Yes.
didn't. I saw him at the Saturns. And
He has a new relationship.
He has a new. Okay, great.
So
Great.
I
great, it happens.
assume
Yeah.
when I last saw him, he wasn't, but I've heard them speak lately. He talks about his either new wife or new
Right,
partner.
something. I think I saw something. He tags me once in a while in like an Everly promotion that he'll kind of come back around to, like something with Everly. We had a great time in Serbia doing that, but I was nervous because it was a very bam, bam, bam type thing. Salma is very method and intense and wants to get it right, and she also has, a lot of protection because of who she's married to, and she has like literally Israeli bodyguards. Like she has to be on a different level floor, yeah, because her husband owns like Learjet and owns like Louis Vuitton or something. Like you can't, and her daughter would be a more like a kidnapping risk, in a place like Serbia. So that was intense, and but it was great, but I was definitely very nervous for that one. And I was scared I wasn't going to get it right. And I couldn't keep my eyes still for my death, like for as long as he wanted me to. I just wasn't skilled at it. So he texted me, he's like, I got it in post. I got it to like completely freeze up, so I was a little embarrassed that I couldn't quite keep it as long as he wanted me to. But I think he's very happy with the way we all ended up performing. And because that role I got just like he just like did a Skype call with me and I got the role, so that was cool.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, they're great guys. And,
Good guys.
and not only working
Yeah.
directors and professionals and a lot of experience. But boy, they share so much with their podcast and their personal lives and all of
know.
that. It's amazing.
Really lovely people. And he was at, and I'll wrap it up there. He was at the Saturns for his, the thing with Barbara Crampton and Heather Graham.
Based on Lovecraft's story, the things you find on the doorstep. But what was it called? It was a great movie.
Yeah, it was
Great.
really cool. Really, if you love that genre, I mean, that's his thing. It's and he did a great job, and the girls did a great job.
Personality jumping from evil entity
Yes,
from one to the
it's
other.
almost like Freaky Friday, but with a horror.
Beautifully done. And
Yeah.
I can't think of the actual
I
title.
can't either right now. It's
but-
annoying.
Was it?
Yes, Suitable Flesh.
There you
Yes,
go.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Did you guys like it? Yeah, everybody liked it. It's a horror festival. Of course you liked it.
Of course.
Well, I'm happy some people came in for this, and you got it filmed so people can watch it.
Yeah,
wherever you
it'll
put
be
it.
online, so
Yeah, so
everyone
people
will be
can
a
see
chance.
it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean,
Thank you. I haven't done
for-
one of these in a while.
Well,
It's been a long time.
Thank you.
Hopefully it was good.
It was great. You guys are great. No, this is a lovely festival. We've had a lovely time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer.